Yo, what's good, everybody? In today's video, I want to give you a simple premise, something that I know a lot of you guys are gonna appreciate, something that most content creators don't talk about because everybody's pushing sales and everybody's pushing numbers and everybody's pushing money spending most of the time. But it's the simple upgrades that make having a build like this or having any other computer well functioning and being at its peak performance, so to speak. But what if I told you that you've been upgrading the wrong way? Not necessarily the wrong way, but you just been upgrading components and not upgrading your software side of things also. Like simple things like disabling startup apps that you don't frequently use. Like let's say you have all these launchers that every company has and their mother, and you have all of them to start up at the same time, but you only use like one or two. So what's the point of having your performance bottleneck by your startup menu or your startup apps just for something that you barely even use, or for most of the things that you don't even use? Let's say disabling Discord to start, or disabling, let's say, Steam or Epic or GOG or stuff like that. Things that you don't use on a daily basis. Why have it start whenever your computer starts? That bugs down the memory, that bugs down your processor and stuff like that, and makes your overall experience not good enough. So I would advise everybody to go on their settings, apps, and disable everything that you don't use on a regular basis, or something that you can just open up once your window is already on the Windows or the home page. That way you can just open whatever you need and you can keep your performance crisp. Second thing is cleaning your computer. People don't usually think about this, but do you know how much dust there is on the air thing, like your skin shedding causes your computer to get like dust on your fans built up and stuff like that? People that smoke, people that smoke vape, people that are in a smoke heavy environment, that usually cakes up on the fans and not prevents them from spinning up, but makes it harder to spin up rather than makes your life easier. And I would suggest, at least, depending on your heavy use of, vaping or smoking, or your overall environment, especially if you have pets, carpet on your floor, I would recommend at least once a month, do a really good heavy cleaning on your computer. I wouldn't recommend buying compressed air, because then that's a waste of money. I would just recommend you to spend like at least $30 on a good, I think it's called like a cordless blower. They sell a lot on Amazon, really powerful. Just make sure that you're not letting your fans freely spin. Hold down the fans that you're gonna blow your air on it, and then just lightly thing, and then buy an anti-static brush, and then brush whatever is on the thing, or unless you want to use isopropyl alcohol wipes, or with a paper towel, put a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and just wipe the fans, the blades on the back and the front and stuff like that, and just overall dust your computer for better performance, and it'll keep the life or your components a little longer. And also make sure to, at least I would say once a year, unscrew and disconnect your heatsink, and just clean up the thermal paste and reapply it. That'll give you better life expectancy of your components. And if you're up for it, at least I think every 3 to 5 years, just if you're up for the task, just search on YouTube how to disassemble X and Y graphics card, your specific model, and then just go for it and try to clean up the thermal paste and stuff. And it'll give you a little bit of performance, a little bit of longevity on your components, and you'll thank me later. Another thing is that people don't go for a lot is using customs DNS, because mainly your ISP's DNS is crap. That's all I'm gonna say. It's crap, it's trash, it doesn't do a very good job, it's very congested and stuff like that. So try to use either Cloudflare's DNS or the Google DNS, they're both decent. I think Cloudflare is a little bit better for gaming, lower latency, lower ping, and Google's is a better overall So if you just so you don't have to do it on Windows or every computer you have in your household, I would recommend you to have a custom DNS on your profile on your router if you're up for the task, or your modem and stuff like that, and that'll help out tremendously overall in the internet performance in your household. Another thing is that, I mean, I'm not too keen on it because I don't like dealing with things that I don't know who made it. I don't like installing programs in my computer that I don't know who made it, and I don't know if it's a reputable source or whatever, but the bloating programs for Windows specifically for Windows 11 and Windows 10. I know that there's been going on around the thing about buying, what's it called? The IoT license of Windows 10 and Windows 11 for the better performance, because it's not bloated like regular Windows. But yeah, there's also a lot of de-bloating tools that they get rid of the telemetry, they get rid of Cortana in the background, they get rid of, I think, Copilot, they get rid of the OneDrive. All of the things that bog down Windows, it gets rid of, and also puts like a little, not a little, it's like a big pause on your Windows updates, so that way you can just update as you please, not as Windows wants. The only thing that I don't like with this type of programs is that Windows, every time it updates, it puts back everything that you de-bloated. So you have to run it every time your computer updates itself, or every time Windows updates, or every time you update Windows, which is a pain in the ass. That's why I don't use it personally. That's why I don't recommend it personally. I don't know if there's new ones that prevent Windows from going back to all the settings that you de-bloated once you update, but that's another tip and trick that I would suggest you take advantage of. And lastly, but not least, I would suggest, which is a hot topic because people, since they don't understand, they don't know how to go about it, but it's the undervolting versus overclocking. In my case, in my personal case, I recommend more undervolting than overclocking, mainly due to the fact that chips nowadays are being pushed so far to the ceiling that you gain literally no benefit from overclocking, but you do gain a lot of well, not a lot of performance, but you get better lifespan or your components, and better life expectancy, and little cooler and better performing components by undervolting, which is taking the peak performance that your processor, let's say in this case, because you can do it to your graphics card too, but let's say keep the peak performance of your CPU that has right now, and just lowering the voltage that it requires from the motherboard to keep the same performance that it has as base and the same frequency, but using less heat. And by less heat, it increments, well, it could be marginally, but it could also be substantially. It increments the clock speed of itself. Since it's running cooler, it can boost a little higher. Same goes for your graphics card. If you're undervolt, like you could, I know for AMD they have on the Adrenaline like an auto overclock thing, which you can run and see what is the highest clock that your graphics card can run, and then you just put that as base, and then running, like I think is Heaven benchmark. While running it, you try to lower the voltage to see where it becomes unstable. Once it becomes unstable and it crashes, then all you do is put a little bit more voltage, like 1 or 2 more points on it, I would say is my recommendation. It's like maybe like 10 or 20 millivolts, and just set it and forget it. And you can also export the custom profile that you have, and every time you reinstall Windows, or every time your drivers update and it resets everything back to default, you can just plug and play it. That's my recommendation for people, rather than just go on the BIOS settings and just turn everything to the crank and push on the voltage, because then you create more heat. And if you're running, especially now in the winter time, if you're running a heater, or a heater in your household to keep you warm from the cold, then it'll push the clocks down, because then it'll push the temperature up. So then you're losing performance. So again, guys, a simple video for this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any more tips that you recommend me and anybody else on the tech community, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know by giving it a like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.